bringing forth light from a recycled water bottle. This is the idea that social entrepreneur and sustainability champion Illac Diaz developed to create litter of light and help thousands of Filipinos and hundreds of thousands around the world. And soon we'll get to watch a film about his efforts in 2023. But first, we'll learn more about his initiatives straight from Illac, right here on The Final Word. Illac, welcome back from Dubai, where you're now based.
Thank you very much. Very excited. As you know, the climate change conference is going to be in Dubai. And so if we're ever going to make that final word, about climate change, and especially what's happening here in the Philippines, it's almost 10 years since Tacloban, since Typhoon Haiyan.
Yeah.
And so we have to have a message, not one of, another disaster that we're waiting for, but one of where do we go from here, something positive, because all the world convened here for that disaster.
That's correct.
10 years later, what is our story? And I don't want to make it a victim story.
And of course, that story will be in a documentary that will be released in 2023.
Well,
and we're all looking forward to that. It's entitled
Theory of Light. Now, remember, we were really thinking how my foundation also started during Typhoon Haiyan. Started, they had no emergency light. And so we created these kind of, solar bottle lights where people can have light where they can't have kerosene. These corridors of light, so rape and theft could be minimized by having, street lights with solar lights.
There was so much darkness during that time.
But it worked. I remember John Kerry coming over there, and basically he couldn't believe the villages were lit, and he even made a speech about it. So I got my first grant there. And now, today, we're around the Philippines, and we're in 32 countries around the world.
32 countries.
So we have stories about, this leadership that comes from the Philippines, that comes out of the darkness and, creates this light. We didn't invent it.
And it is a Filipino that has created this light in not only the Philippines, but across 32 countries.
Well, the idea really is to recreate leadership. I think the Western model is a bottom-down approach, right? I'm the leader, and then everybody else follows me. I learned if you're Filipino, you have to create other leaders equally or better than you. And so that's what we did in these 32 offices, 5 to as much as 20 people each. During COVID, of course, we suffered a lot of pain because our business model is getting corporates to do workshops to build it, pay for the materials, and then a little bit more for operations, and then we would give it for free to exchange kerosene where women are lending it out.
So but has it turned the corner after the pandemic?
Well, we started really with your interview. We were in the driveway, and we couldn't figure out how to stop. Because corporates wouldn't let us in the companies for their people to volunteer. And so what we did was we started asking people in their homes to make solar lights. And lo and behold, we crossed about 10,000 people in Metro Manila building solar lights from home.
Yes.
Challenging others, and then still we would get to donate it. So we replicated this around the world, and now it's viral. It became a viral.
And now how many liter of lights have already been created?
I would say we're hitting about 800,000. This kind of social enterprise really starts. It's a slow burn during the first 4 or 5 years. The most difficult of it is, when I watch this climate, eco-entrepreneurs or climate leaders, I always ask to myself, how come I don't see, a brown person there? I'm so admiring them, but I don't see anyone from Asia, from
a developing country.
From a developing country. So the narrative is really that we're the victim and that we should enjoy this kind of, as I said, help. But there are really little stories of starting from small but changing the world. And that's why the documentary is so important, because it's not litter of light. It's just we need an army of change makers to actually come up with it, because we can't wait for Superman. And this is funny because my hero is, I don't know if you know him, it's called Captain Planet. Captain Planet was on CNN, and I used to watch this on the Turner Network because it was the first one where 5 nationalities had to come together to create a hero. You know, African, Indian, Asian. And so when I watched it, I said, hey, that's like me. And so I really believe that we should create more stories about heroes from Asia changing the world.
You know, this Litter of Light has been a journey of yours since Typhoon Haiyan. It's almost, well, it's 10 years,
10 years,
right? 10 years.
10 years midnight.
That has been a
12
great
o'clock.
accomplishment for you, Illac. But of course, 2022 has been a greater year. You have tied the knot. You got married. You now have a partner for your Litter of Light.
Well, you know,
together, you'll be more.
You would think
powerful.
that, you know, making a difference and, you know, dedicating so much time of your life to really create a global, you know, humanitarian brand.
Yeah.
As I said, you know, I just wanted that Filipinos has global businesses, but in the humanities, in the humanitarian field, you know, we're such a big part of the UN, many NGOs, but we never take the lead. And so I always said, what if we can also say, look, you know, Filipinos can be global leaders, but it's really hard in the story because you have to have numbers, you have to have offices. It's easy to talk, you know, to have this, you know, mother statement, but it's hard to have measurement and numbers. And so that's what I did for the last 10
Are we
years.
getting enough support, especially from the private sector here in the Philippines? You're now based in Dubai. You should be based here. Are we getting enough support from Philippine corporates and from the Philippine government and other NGOs to support the Litter of Light cause?
Well, you know, we're doing well. We could do better. During COVID, of course, was really difficult. But, you know, not enough. What you have in other countries is half of their government or more of their expenses are by government. You know, they have aid for nonprofits going abroad. Here, we don't have that. And that's why social entrepreneurship is the way to go. Because Filipinos for many years was a you know, they had this philanthropic kind of idea. But that's why they only stayed in the, you know, a small office or a garage, because really they were waiting for money to be given for something that they're doing good. But with social enterprise, you know, you can start with a small karinderya, but, you know, you can make it into a big global event. And so that's the same thing we do. We charge, but at the same time, we can have operations. But now we are global with the same working model that we started here in the Philippines. Ideas from the Philippines can make a difference in other South-South nations. Except that sometimes we're always so prone to waiting that we don't ever try out, you know, that ideas can affect millions of people.
Illac, thank you so much for brightening the lives of many Filipinos and
At the
many
same time,
people around the world.
It's at the same time having a wife that brightens my life. And yes, very happy, married in Dubai because some of the churches are, but yes, it's been so much better having a partner and going the distance rather than going alone, because two heads are always better than one.
Congratulations to you.
And Merry Christmas to you.
Merry
and,
Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Happy
and,
New Year.
Brighter New Year.
2023.
To everyone. And yeah, hopefully this film, we can make it better. Now that, you know, as I said, you know, it looks like talking heads at the moment because we were under pandemic. Zoom, we could only stay in 2 days, 3 days in the villages. So it will have more meat. And hopefully, Cinemalaya, my dream is like if Al Gore can be in front of a whiteboard and get to a cinema, maybe, you know, this kind of environmental, because we need these films in our own public schools because we need more
We need to
an
educate
army of change
and
makers.
we need to inform our youth movement.
Especially
Thank
about
you.
climate
Thank you.
change. Especially about
Absolutely.
climate change.
Illac,
Thank you.
Thank you so
Very
much for
welcome.
joining us. Illac Diaz, the founder of Litter of Light.